Okay, first of all, I'd like to say hello and welcome to everybody. Today we're going to cover a topic that you may or may not know information about. First question I'd like to ask you is, and think about this, you don't have to answer me, what is home health care? Home health care is when a person of any age needs home health care services. That means that they need care from a healthcare professional in their home because they're not able to leave their home for various reasons. When a person needs home health care services, these guidelines and regulations have to be followed, and there are some pretty strict rules for home health care. Care can be provided by a registered nurse, a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, speech, or a social worker. For the rules of skilled home care, those professionals have to be licensed. Otherwise, they do not fall within the regulations of home care services. Once a person is qualified for home care, this typically happens when you have a doctor's order in order for the care to be paid for by the most common services or insurances such as Medicare and Medicaid. Once again, I mentioned a licensed professional under a doctor's order would provide the services. To admit somebody to home care services, there's only 3 individuals that can do that: a registered nurse licensed in that state, a physical therapist, and a speech therapist. Those 3 individuals can admit someone to home care services, assess them, and evaluate whether or not they qualify for that care. There's another type of home care service, as you look on my visual aid here, and that's a private pay. Private pay typically is a service that does not fall under strict regulations of the federal government like Medicare and Medicaid, or a typical insurance like a Blue Cross. Private pay, those patients or clients are not under a doctor's order, and they are not cared for specifically by a licensed professional. You could, for example, you could get services for grandma needs a bath twice a week. Okay, that's not a licensed professional. That could be a home health aide that may have a certification, but there's no license requirement. So that service is different in that it's a private pay versus skilled. A private pay service is, like it says, privately paid for out of pocket. What I have here is a handout. We'll have Brandon pass these around because he's so enthused. And I'll give one to Juanita over here. This is my map, and on this map it's similar to my visual aid where it talks about the subsets of home health care services. You have the services provided by therapy, nurse, social worker, regulations for Medicare and Medicaid under CMS guidelines, and I would encourage you to go to my web, which is, it's not my web, but cms.gov or medicare.gov for guidelines to see if you or your family member qualify for home care services under skilled home health care requirements. So once again, CMS stands for Centers for Medicare Medicaid Services. They decide whether the services are adequate. They would audit and evaluate the home care company to see if they will get paid for the services they provide and if they're doing it under the proper rules and regulations. So once again, cms.gov, medicare.gov would answer all of your questions in regards to home health care services under skilled care. In review, we talked about home health care services. We talked about 2 things. We talked about skilled care and private care. Skilled is very strict. It's government regulated. Private care is not, and private care services are typically paid out of pocket. One other thing that I want to mention is under the skilled service, there is a rule that states if Medicare or Medicaid is going to pay for that service, the person must be called a homebound patient. And homebound means that they typically won't leave their home, or they can't leave their home, or their medical condition is contraindicated that they would leave their home. So they're basically homebound. So in that sense, the assessment proves that they're a homebound patient, the doctor supports that with the order, and they are able to get the skilled home care services under Medicare or Medicaid. Private insurances, doesn't matter. Private pay, doesn't matter. Whatever care they choose that they want to pay for, there's no rules and regulations for that. So once again, skilled care, nurses, registered nurse, social work, therapy, PT/OT, all under skilled care. You can also get those services under private pay, but through Medicare and Medicaid, those are strictly regulated. So in conclusion, I hope that I've shared enough information to give you guys what you need in the event that you need home care services, and the website to search for more information if you would need it. And I thank you for your time, and have a good evening.